Hello, and welcome to another Let's Play, at least a Let's Try. I'm here in Victoria 2, very excited for Victoria 3 to be released, and I figured let's go back and have some fun. And let's do something I've never done before, which is play with some of the alternate history mods in Victoria 2. So this one here is Divergence of Darkness, and it's like a world in which Burgundy sided with the English in the 100 Years' War, so the English and France are united. Burgundy's still here. Austria never united. The German Prussians have been vanquished by a unified Scandinavia. Moscow never took over a bunch of stuff. There's still hordes. And I think that even Taiping, Heavenly Kingdom, has done some colonialism, if I come over here, to Kianggu. And then there's Grand Columbia together. The colonies in the US are completely different. There's Belgium here. So it's a really cool world. And I thought what might be fun for us is to play as a secondary power. So in this game, there are always 8 great powers at the top of the list. And we want to break into that list without being so far away. So you can see that dual monarchies and Scandinavia are up there at the top. And it's an amalgamation of your industry and your prestige and your fighting, because in Victoria 2 you're playing in 1836 for like 100 years, and it's incredible. So what we're gonna do with Muscovy, and try and form the great empire of Russia, there's a long way for us to go on our ascent, is industrialize early, industrialize hard, and fight. Right now we're at 13th. We're a secondary power. That's better than just civilized. But we've even got some weak neighbors here in these different hordes and stuff. So we have a really good aggro to the east against some weak people, and some really powerful nations to the west. The Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth has a bunch of vassals around it. Scandinavia protects or is part of this little country. Novgorod is in the sphere and often protected of Scandinavia. We can talk about that later. But yeah, we're just going to jump ahead here. And what I'm going to do is cut this video up to be many time skips. I'm not going to have you guys watch me do all the admin of this country, but basically I'll tell you overall what's going on. So first things first, we go to our budget screen. We're maxing out our administrative spending. We're going to have a huge bureaucracy. We're going to fund our education system and the clergy to teach people how to read. And we're going to put a bunch of spending into our military because absolutely we love guns. We are going to look at our provinces. We are if we look at our government, if we go to politics, we have a Tsar. We're an absolute monarchy. So I can change our policies of which is our ruling government. I'm going to choose an alternative one that has state capitalism, because I'm the Tsar. I can change our policies on a whim. And here in our country, I can go into this province and build a factory. What do we have a lot of in Russia right now? Tons of wood. So we're going to start with sawmills, maybe build some furniture, X, Y, and Z. And we can actually see that in our trade or in our production tab. There's a whole bunch of things going on in this game. But basically, we make lots of wood. We have some coal, and our artisans are making things. It's a whole thing. This is all going to change once I run the game for a month while the economy stabilizes. Because in Victoria 2, unlike a lot of other games, our population is actually broken down by individual pop groups of people that have religion, locations, they have needs that are being met, they're buying their luxury goods, and all of the economy is based on, you have a big army where you're consuming a lot of ammunition. You have a lot of people that are aristocrats, they want lots of wines and fancy clothes. You've got lots of laborers, they want beer and XYZ and tea. And as empire building, we need to go out and get those resources so that we can fuel our economy and fuel our people. So, without further ado, I am going to make... Actually, before I put in the first cut, we're going to do like 2 things. We're going to go into technology, and we're going to get medicine. And the reason I want medicine is for supply limit. So we have armies here of like 18, 21, and 24,000 men. But if we are to send them in our neighboring countries, there's only enough supply, you can see down here on the right, supply of like 15, 16, 10, 12. So we're going to have to like send in little piecemeals of our army because there just isn't enough food in the land to survive off of. That technology is going to help us invade these eastern neighbors. On top of that, we have our production. So I'm going to set some national focuses to get more laborers, but I can't do that right away because I don't have a factory yet. So we'll start with some clergy. They'll, you know, we love religion here in Russia, and the clergy will do a great job teaching our people how to read. And then the other piece is our army. Let's go into build army. We do not need irregulars. We're a very fancy modernized country, cough, cough. And just in a couple of places where we have lots of soldiers living, we'll go and hire on some new soldiers. So more army mobilization is good. Peace is good. Trade is good. And then we'll be getting our first factories as soon as possible. Moldavia wants to be friends with us. That might pull us into a war that we really don't want to be a part of. Because I think we're going to end up fighting Scandinavia and Poland, and we're not going to have many friends because I want to fight everyone around us. Maybe if I could get friends with Polish, Lithuanian, Commonwealth. Yeah, let's be friends with these people so that we can fight everyone else. So form alliance, they're going to love that. And then Moldavia right here, we'll be friends with them. So if we look at our political map mode and we click on our country, once that goes through, that request, they'll show up blue as well. And all of this hashed line is what we need to form Russia. So we got a lot of conquering to get to, a lot of attacking, and I'll come back and bring you in once something significant happens here. All right, quick step in. We finally have enough money to purchase a sawmill. That's going to require a lot of machine parts and stuff that we're going to have to import. So big spend, but it's going to turn a lot of the lumber that we're producing in this country, 700 or so, and instead of cutting it into nice lumber using handmade tools and people, we're going to do it with factories and industry. Also, we're doing a war justification already. It's in progress, secretly coming up with reasons why the no-guy horde are evil. And if we get caught, that's going to give us world infamy. If ever we go over like 30, it's really, really, really bad. But that's fine, because we're just ominously here on the border of this country. And we have new divisions that we are training up coming over to join the fray. So basically the enemy is coming right for us. We have to go to war with them to protect ourselves. And we'll bring you back in once that starts. And all right, we're ready to go. We did end up getting caught, and we got like 2 point something infamy out of like 10 or 7.5. So we did get caught, but we got a low roll on how much the world cared about us justifying a war on a neighboring country. No one's here to defend them at all. So casus belli, demand concession. We are coming in for your land. Thank you very much. And what that's going to look like is us taking all these troops. Oh, we have a bunch of army dudes. 16 troops here, 16 troops here. Let's go ahead. This is a huge cavalry regiment, so that's actually kind of interesting on its own right. We'll see how good they are at operating independently. But we're going to send 15,000 people into here. We're going to send another 15,000 people into here. And then this one here, let's split it in half. So that's 12,000 into there, 12,000 into there, and with a couple of quick splits, another 3 and 3. So that's 15, 15, 15. The armies are marching in. We can go ahead. I'll even speed it up here for a second. And we're conquering their land. They also tried to recruit a division that we instantly destroyed because they had no morale. They just got put together. Here's your gun. You're in the army. And boom, boom, boom. So the invasion has started. The enemy has an army nearby, but They're uncivilized scum. There's no way they'll have a chance against us. And meanwhile, if we go to our factories, we're still purchasing the materials required for our factory here. But I'm pretty sure this location here also has a ton of lumber. So let's, instead of diversifying our economy, boom, we'll get another sawmill. Hopefully we can get the machine parts necessary for that. And I know that this is a well-populated area. It only has wheat and stuff, really. So we want to produce things in the province for an efficiency bonus that you have locally. And I think a cannery, which we need for supplying our armies with food, we could do that here. So let's get a cannery as well, and we'll check back on these economic things here. You can see our budget. We're tariffing decently. Most of our people have a good quality of life, though some people, all artisans, are really struggling to make ends meet because they have to buy goods from the world market, and we're tariffing them at like 60% of the cost. So they're struggling to make a profit. And yeah, maybe even, you know, falling into debt and becoming a serf, which is basically a slave for us. But let's not worry about the politics of that yet. We'll get into that later. So the war is on. We'll check back in as we move forward. So the enemy force, you can see we've already started conquering land with this hash line. It's hard to tell the green on green, which is why we have to kill this nation faster. They did end up attacking us, and they died so fast I couldn't even pause. They attacked one of our smaller armies thinking maybe we can defeat them in detail, and we just crushed them, so they're regrouping while we're conquering the rest of their country. But I wanted to stop here for just a quick second and say that they've already offered us a peace, and we're going to decline it because we are going to get this province guaranteed. But what I want to do is actually be adjacent to Sibir because I want to start beating up on them as soon as possible. So what we're going to do is go into this war and add a war goal. Sorry, this is our war. And we're going to demand Jake. It's another province. When you add it this way, you get the maximum infamy. So it's good that we got a low roll on the upfront because now we can afford to take on the 7.5. If that ever goes above like 30, I'm telling you, the world will decide you are a bad person and you need to be stopped. So perhaps now that we've added that war goal, let's just let it run for a day or two. They may even accept the peace because they know they would accept this offer. Exactly. So just like that, let's wait for their diplomats to get back to us. We've conquered all of this land. Now, what's important is this land, you know, is uncivilized, right? Awful, awful people. And they're mostly producing things I don't care about. Like all these provinces are like crappy wheat, a little bit more wood. But down in here, a bunch of iron, baby, iron cows and whatnot. So if we are going to get a steel mill up, we now have access to these raw resources that we can feed into our factories. And all the way over here, I noticed there's sulfur, baby. So sulfur is really important for making powder, like weapons and stuff. It's also good for fertilizer and stuff. So whether or not these uncivilized hordes want it, we're coming in and we're gonna civilize them so we can have access to their markets. And even though this stuff looks the same, like this is all green and this is all green, it is considered a colonial province. Like they don't have full citizenship and stuff. We are ethnically Russian. Whereas, yes, there are some Russians here. Thank God we're protecting them. But there's a lot of Tartar and more Divins. And if we go even further east, it changes to Bakshir. So anyways, good first expansion. I think next we're going to hit the Khanate down here. It looks like they're actually already at war. So, justify war. We could go for their capital province or one sec. Where's their capital? Their capital's in here. Would we rather go for their capital or for this one here? Looks like there's about, you can see down here on the left, there's like the thousands of population. So looks like it's about 140,000 versus 100 and something thousand. This one's making a bunch of wool that I don't really care about. This one has wool, cows, and some coal. This one here might be adjacent to more neighbors that we can bully though. Let's for now justify war, and we'll just demand a concession. And we'll see if we can get caught. Also, you know, they could rebel, the provinces that we conquered, but let's not worry about it. A lot of people are actually upset. They want to get rid of serfdom. And we're actually okay with that, but we're not going to give it to them for a long time while we sort some other political issues out. But we'll work that out off camera here and bring you guys in the loop when we actually pull the trigger. So I'll see you soon. Hello. Our poor neighbors to the south lost their war to the Shaki Khanate, but we, without anybody noticing, were able to justify a war to demand our lands. Oh, wow, we can actually choose. Demand concession. We have 2 provinces we can ask for. Now, this one down here is detached from our country, so let's just go for Azak. And proceed. So just like that, we're at war. Now, these provinces, like I said earlier, are actually quite difficult for us, because they can only take a small amount of troops, 10 each, and we don't have medicine yet, which really would have made a big difference for us. So let's send some troops into some places. I like sending in the cavalry and stuff, but I also don't. One sec. Oh my God, these soldiers are gonna kill themselves here. So you create a unit of 1 man and then send the 9 down. So we're sending a very understrength group of soldiers to go and fight in these locations. But the enemy, one sec, we'll just make militancy better. Or worse, rather. They have a small army because they just lost a war. They got the hell kicked out of them. So, oh, they think they can just walk around us, eh? Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. They're going to try and conquer us with just 1 squad of dudes. Charge. And they're losing lots of men because they're out of supply and dying. But they're able to move pretty quickly because they just had 1 battalion of horsemen, whereas we're marching at them with troopers. But just like that, we are in like Flynn. And honestly, this supply area has enough. And once you have control over a location, you have a little bit more supply. But just like that, we're marching through, conquering their lands, just destroyed their main army, what was left of it from their previous war. And now we're going to take over a whole bunch more. We're building a whole bunch of factories. And finally, it looks like, let's go to our production budget. We got the pieces we need. So these lines for the longest time look like this because we were waiting to buy machine parts. And we're in line waiting for basically the dual monarchy, Britain, to produce those machine parts because we don't have the technology to do it ourselves. So I'll check back in once we've invaded another country. Okay, we haven't gone far, but I wanted to check in again. I looked up and was like, wait a second, why does it say we're at war with 2 things? We're at war with the world's 10th great power with a huge military, but the reserves are mobilized, and they are, if I look at their diplomatic map mode, down here. They're already embroiled in a bunch of fighting in the Balkans and stuff, but it might be harder for us to piece out of this war and force concessions if they were to come up. But I don't think that these nations nearby them are going to give them access to march their armies through. So unless they have a big enough navy, and to be fair, this was the Ottoman Empire a minute ago, but they had a huge revolution in the center of their country. And now there's breakaway provinces, and they've renamed to the Sublime Porte. So I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Is Constantinople? Yeah. Well, they don't like us at all. But we'll see what's up. I hope you... actually, not that I hope you enjoyed. We'll check in, and I'll tell you if this massive army... They have an army score of 50, and we have an army score of 35. They have the 6th largest army in the world right now, and we have the 11th. And just like that, we conquered a bunch of provinces, and the Sublime Porte, the Ottomans, said, no, we'll give you what you want, we're not going to fight. So just like that, boom, baby, a whole bunch of more territorial provinces for us. This is also considered a colonial province because they're not It doesn't have enough administrative people in it of our culture, basically. So we need to get proud Russians to move in before we'll consider it one of our core lands. What about the Khanate here? They're allied with the Heavenly Kingdom, which is, you know, China. And they have 114 brigades. So even though, and they're the #1 army in the world. So let's not go to war with them and perhaps keep our train going around by demanding concessions of our next neighbor. And we're just hauling in colonies. We have colonial power here that we're using so far. We're using 39 points of it. But let's see if we can use a whole lot more. Let's go. And let's send some of these armies over here to get ready for this next invasion here. We're really growing as aggressively and quickly as we can, and because these are a bunch of uncivilized nations, we don't really accumulate too much bad boy. If we took half as much territory against Novgorod, another republic, civilized nation, it would be we would have a bad time. Anyways, I'll let you know if we get caught. And yes, we did get caught. 6.4 infamy out of 7.5. So we did get a little bit burned on not being able to get through that time, but that's fine. Landlocked nations. The King Sound Dues toll happened to us. Import costs are up. Oh my lord. And import costs are up. We're not landlocked though, are we? We were landlocked, and then we got an event for being landlocked once we... You know what? Crimea, who likes you? Sublime Ports. I think it's because we have a truce with their ally. Let's look into potentially attacking Crimea and going for some warm water ports. You know, we've never heard of Russians, you know, forcing their way into Crimea. That wouldn't happen. But in our reality, that's something that we're very interested in happening once we finish taking out these eastern provinces here. Check in soon. All right, the war preparations are done. Declare war, demanding concessions. Let's frickin' go. Now, I don't know what they have for an army ready to face us, but there is a lot of land in here. So let's see what's going on. We're going to send our scout regiments in first. Okay, looks like there's lots of land to conquer. We'll send these guys up as well. And then the 2 armies of 3. I'm just really worried about taking heavy attrition from starving off the land. There's an army of 17, and it looks like they're coming in at us. They're coming right for us. And then, yeah, just saying that we were going to reinforce was enough to prevent the enemy from trying anything. So we'll send this army over. Oh, they did come in. And we are fighting a losing battle just from being overwhelmed here. Now, that's embarrassing for us to lose to such uncivilized... Oh, they ran away! They were going to win the battle, but they ran. And they ran for, I mean, obvious reasons. They did not want all of our allies to get into that battle and crush them. So right as they were about to clutch the win, they had to run away because they weren't going to beat us in time. And now we've caught them on the back foot down in here. You can't actually see all the details because of the resolution problems with the old game. But they've got a lot of infantry. We've got a lot of cavalry, which is generally bad. But we are so far technologically advanced to them that we are just beating on their morale, winning war score, killing many of their men, giving them war exhaustion. And they're going to run to their capital. One sec. Farming efficiency, bad. We best save even more water. All right, let's do that. That seems right. Oh, he's running this way. Attack! I just want to catch him out wherever he goes. You guys connect and then just have yourself. There we go. All right, we're conquering a bunch of their land. We also have an army back in our capital, basically just chilling out in case something funky happens from another nation. But yeah, the enemy is running to Bakshar, it seems. He did get away, but he's gonna fight in the forest here. So forest fighting isn't super great for us, but it doesn't really it impacts the width of the battle. But it's such a small army. Like, we're not coming at each other with 100,000 men. We're coming at each other with like 10,000 men. So just like that, you've been defeat. And yeah, conquer, conquer, conquer. Anyways, I'll wrap this up. You can see here that we're just conquering one bit of land after the next. I'll come to you once we have a peace deal all lined up. Alrighty, and just like that, we got a peace offer, so we are going to proceed with that, and we've conquered half of their land, which we love. Now it's time to talk about this whole Crimea thing, because we are not going to spend this game being a landlocked nation. No sirree, Bob. But on top of that, you can see up here that there is so much pressure from our people, especially those that want to get rid of the serfdom, that even the conservatives, right, there's a political party here, reactionaries want to reduce basically progressive policies, liberals want to push liberal policies through, and conservatives want to kind of maintain the status quo. Well, we go in here, they're the political reforms. For the record, liberals in this are politically liberal, not socialist liberal. Like, it's very distinct. So we actually can push through some laws to change some things. And obviously they all want like this debt law pushed. There's a lot of population that want this reform. This reform, for instance, only 0.3 want it, but the upper house would take it. 0.2, 0.3, right? But what we're gonna do is, instead of giving them the thing that they want, we're gonna try and placate them by giving them a different thing. Like, we're gonna allow them, this gives us allowed rights, which allows us to assimilate people better, get better migrant attraction, and all cultures can vote. Awesome. So we're gonna push this reform. And the reason I'm doing that is because, sure, it'll give them some granted reforms. You can see there the -18. These people are still pissed, and there's a lot of them that really care, and they can even move our divisions to betraying us in a huge revolution. But we're going to try and harness this hate, harness this upsetness to push the upper house and to be willing to push reforms. And we're going to push as many reforms into a progressive land that people want to move to and live in instead of immigrate out of. Except for the serfdom, as long as we can. Even though the serfdom is the best one for us to push, we can use the people's will to get rid of it as the engine to push other political reforms in our country. So hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. But the next big thing for us to talk about is, are we going to be attacking our boy Crimea here? They do have a military score of 24. We have a military score of 36. The problem is that, again, Sublime Port is right here. And they have ended. They had a bunch of wars going on out here in the west, and those wars have ended. So if we start another war where they came in, we could find ourselves in trouble. Though we do have a truce with the Sublime Port, so I'm not sure that they can even be called in against us. The fact that we had to fight them before might give us exactly what we need now. So let's go ahead, acquire state or acquire capital state. What state is this? Danu. Crimea is all the way down here. Yeah, let's go for just, we don't, as much as I'd love to just go straight for Crimea, I'm all about having it be contiguous. And see, now it's 11 and 15 bad boy. And instead of taking several months, it takes almost a year to justify the war. So much more opportunity to get caught doing it, and a bigger penalty for being caught. But this should help us get rid of that negative modifier. One sec. Was it in politics? The fact that we're a landlocked country. I don't know. There's lots of modifiers and crazy things going on in our country. But you can see here, Moscow does have our factory opened up with 4,600 workers in it, and they are producing lumber. And that's good. Or they're taking lumber, rather, wood, and making it lumber. And you can see here, lumber has had a good stable price of X, Y, or Z. So the problem is that wood is worth 0.9 and lumber is worth 1.1. So if we look at our factory, you know, it's only making a little bit. But hey, it's 4% of the world's production of lumber. Oh my god. Oh my lordy. As a country we are. You can see here our sawmill makes 71, but our artisans are making 1,400. But still, factories are cool. I'll let you know when more come online. We actually have quite a few. If I click this button here, we have a furniture factory coming online here, a cannery, a steel mill, and actually we also want more sawmills, to be honest. But we have canned food. We want a fertilizer factory, which requires that we have this bad boy. No, it requires that we have you. Oh crap, we should have just completely conquered this nation. Look at all this sulfur. What if somebody else takes it? Is there sulfur up here? I thought we had sulfur. Oh my lordy, though. Look at this. Precious metals. Nice. So because we're a landlocked country, it's harder for us to import stuff. So it's really important that we keep the gas down and keep attacking people viciously. I'd love to send people to colonize the wilderness here, but we also need technologies to be able to survive in this deep of the Arctic. So anyways, so far so good. Look at this green snaky thing. And now Crimea is next. I'll let you know once things progress there. We just got our medicine, and we've already actually got combat medicine. So not only have we got our supply level up, but we got a sub discovery, which is a random chance for military hospitals to be better and army attrition to be down. Next up, we're going to get some early railroads that'll help us industrialize even harder. Lots of factories coming online, though most all of our workers live in Moscow, but these new factories are helping. And you can see some craftsmen are coming in here and there. We're actually encouraging even more craftsmen to come out of, well, their previous role of farmers and stuff. But we need to stop having them be serfs as soon as possible for that. We also have our war justification that just wrapped up. So it's time, acquire state. I think we would like to go for the Danube as opposed to going for Yadishlan. So declare war, acquire state. Hopefully they don't call in the Sublime Port, but if they do, that's fine. We will make it work. And now that we have combat medicine, our army size can actually be as high as 20 throughout these locations. So I'm going to send this army in, and then let's take this Hussar. Ooh, let's take this Hussar and tell him to sprint up and join the team. This guy's got 18. This supply limit's even larger than I had thought. These men into Danu and these men into Lopan. And we're just going to keep sending troops in. Now, this is a real enemy. This is a civilized nation. Oh, we actually accidentally left an army way back in this country forever ago. Oopsie. And our ally, you can see, is on the border. He's ready in case he has to get called in. Though, yep, the Sublime Port did join the war. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Here's the enemy army. 21 men. 21,000 men. Let's get our big stack here in the center. And this can support it. So, very, very good. And these can support the bigger armies. because the provinces themselves are nice grasslands as opposed to like hills and stuff, right? So it looks like they're going to be going into the hills. Can we force an engagement on them? No. I don't really want to fight them in the hills, but I might want to fight them if they come down into this province to unsiege it. So yeah, now that they're here, all of our armies will descend upon thee. Oh, well. Still, our armies will chase. Reactionaries, so there was a revolt happening near us. Demands we shall be known as an uncivilized nation. Oh my god, so this Khanate here was well on their way to civilizing, but because they got beat up by us and their other neighbors, there was enough room for the rebels to rise up and tear down their progress towards civilization with a Western government. Very, very interesting that they got completely destroyed by the sequence of wars that fell on them. But sucks to suck, now that they're even weaker than they were before, we'll be sure to come in and invade them again, basically. Though we have a truce with them until 1843. Look at this. Absolutely conquering everything right now. You go in here, actually, and you'll come out. Very, very good. And, oh, actually, yeah, this is where their capital region is. You guys go to there, then. Let's move towards their capital. And combine, split, and march upon it. So they're trying to blockade us with that fleet. We will need a fleet as Russia, for sure. But let's make sure that we win this warm water port. We actually completely annihilated the army of Crimea, so we're not worried about it. War exhaustion. I don't even know where I see my war exhaustion. Plurality, revanchism, suppression. Politics. Population. Oh god, where is it? I thought it was in here. I know that it's in here somewhere, but I don't. Oh, right here. We're at 2% war exhaustion. We'll just get more food. We don't need to set it out to the people. The people aren't exhausted of war just yet. Conquer, conquer, conquer. Crimea hates us for some reason. I can't imagine why. It might be worth adding a war goal to acquire capital. This is 15 infamy, though. Ah, yikes. No, we have a lot of conquering left to do. 15 puts us way too close. And, oh no. It's wild. It's wild. But anyways, just like that, we should basically be able to... Oh, we don't negotiate for peace with you. We negotiate for peace with your big brother. He doesn't think we have enough war score to warrant taking over all of the land. But I don't agree, man. We've kind of conquered all of Crimea, and this is going to ruin them. Because while they're under occupation, they are not producing any goods. And look at this. We got good stuff for our military hospitals, more medical breakthroughs and stuff. So either way, we're going to keep this country nice and occupied. And no one's in our country attacking us. So I'll cut away and come back and let you know how it went. We're a little bit later in the war. And we're just still waiting. A lot of time has gone by. We were at 30% before we started. Now we're up to 40%. So we're just waiting for them to accept the offer. Right now, it's only worth 33% score, but we have 40%. The problem is that the Sublime Port still feels like they have a shot at winning. because they are mobilized, have a lot of army out there, but there's no way for them to get to us because our ally refuses to give them military access without declaring war on them as well. And if they did that, they'd end up pulling in Poland. It's a whole international thing. So we've had this whole country absolutely wrecked. If we look at them, they have 100% war exhaustion. So their whole country is just begging. They were the 14th great power of the world. Now they're down to 70. Also, we just saw that Nogai, it has a oh wow. So establish protectorate. Nogai, we're actually going to start declaring war on them as well because they have nothing going on basically, and we're not feeling particularly threatened by... Actually, this army is a little bit too good to send to the colonial provinces. We'll send these guys over. Yeah. So basically, we're not worried, and there we go. Sublime Port. Thank you for the land, my dude. So we are already creating our claim on the next bit of clay that we will conquer. Loving it, having a great time. Bring all these armies back into our land, our new land down here. Are there any Russians here? Yeah, there are. 36% Russians. See, we were just protecting ourselves. And then down here, we actually, where 40,000 people live, we can build a naval base. And on top of that, I didn't say it, but I should have. We just got the technology for experimental railroads. So if I click infrastructure map mode, we're able to build railroads all over the place. So that's our capital province. The two ones beside it have quite a bit of people. We can't build it in these regions because the rolling hills, it's experimental railroads at this point, right? So they're not very powerful. They really have to be built on ideal flat ground. But ideal flat ground is a lot of our country. And we can even build them in our colonial provinces, and that'll give us way more access. See all this iron and coal and stuff? That's going to be great for our industry. The wheat and cows and stuff I care less for, but the iron and stuff out here, very, very good. All the way to these mines for, like, all of this stuff. We have 120,000 pounds built up over time for us. So basically, it's going to be a while before we can actually import all of the goods to do all of this construction. But we are, we're super down for that. We are ready to do what it takes. Now, this Danu here is actually a civilized country, so it is actually a province of ours, our core province. And because it has coal, let's put a steel mill in it. There we go. Let's go. We're going heavy industry, baby. Muscovy looking bigger, thicker every day. And the politics of it, the diplomacy is showing, bam, we're already on our way to the next one. Let's take a stop here at in Poland. Keep right-clicking the wrong country. And increase our relations with them. That costs us one of these little, or two of these little papers up here. We can do it with Scandinavia, but I don't really like them. Dual monarchies, you're very important. You should like us. And Sublime Port hates us. I hate Novgorod. I hate everyone else around me, basically. I was going to make China like us more, but look at them. They're falling apart. So we won't worry about that. Anyways, I'll let you know how the industrialization goes. So you can see here on the right side a whole list of them that we have to work on, right? And all these ones paused at 7:30 are waiting on the materials to come in. Ooh, there we go. We got detected. Instead of getting 15, we got 10. Oh, Venice, opening Council of Athens. Good stuff. Vaccinations were invented. Infamy was gained. Busy month. And then a lot of these railroads, they'll take 2 years to build, but it's going to be very worth it. And I'll see you then.